So Another Code Recollection is a game that came to the Nintendo Switch in January, and I have finally beaten it, and I'm ready to give you guys my unfiltered thoughts on the game, so let's get into this review. So this game is a double pack remake of the previous two Another Code R games on the DS and the Wii. This is widely considered to be quite the gem for the DS game, as Another Code 2 Memories came out all the way back in 2005. Obviously I was 2 at the time, so needless to say I did not play this game and have no experience with it. But there's also another game here called Another Code: A Journey into Lost Memories that came out on the Wii in 2008 to mixed reception. However, both of these titles have pretty much gone down as like some of the most hidden gem Nintendo franchises there is, so we finally got a remake of those first two games on the Nintendo Switch, and are they as good as people thought they were? So the Wii game actually never ended up coming out over here, so this is the first time we will be able to experience this game and see what it has to offer in the West. It did come out as a European release, but it never ended up dropping in the West, so here we go. To do this review, I'm going to break it into story, gameplay, soundtrack, visuals, and overall opinion. So let's do it. So basically, you're a 14-year-old girl who finds out that your father is actually alive, and he's waiting on an island for you. You go up there, and your Aunt Jessica comes with you, and some shenanigans happen. You end up losing Jessica and trying to find both her and your father. You meet some fun characters throughout the game. There's some interesting twists and turns that I really honestly did not see coming, so that was pretty cool. And it was an engaging enough story to keep me interested and push me all the way through all the puzzles and other nonsense to solve this mystery. Gameplay-wise, I do think this is where it's the weakest. So first of all, it is a visual novel style game, so gameplay definitely takes a backseat to the story, and movement here is mostly my main issue. It's really, really slow. When you're moving from place to place, you move at a turtle's pace, and you can even like run in the game, and that does not do a lot. I wouldn't have as much of an issue with the pace that you walk and run at if the camera worked a little bit better, but when you're trying to maneuver the camera around, it moves so slowly, it pans so slowly. Like, I don't understand how we can't whip and waz and go all over the place. Maybe I'm just really used to like first-person shooters and all that kind of stuff, but you should be able to look where you want to look at that moment. I think it's so annoying how long it takes. And really the main part that I find annoying about this is that when you do puzzles, there's a lot of times when like the thing is right behind you, and so you have to maneuver the camera back there to see what's going on. But you can't really do that because it's taking so flippin' long to pan itself over. So the puzzles here really vary. Some can be relatively creative and interesting, while others make you feel like you accomplished absolutely nothing, and they're more of just a hindrance than anything else. There are definitely some fun moments where you use a random switch feature that's actually pretty cool, and sometimes the gameplay actually completely changes, which I did really enjoy. I thought that was a really interesting idea. I kind of wish they did more of that and stayed away from these really mundane, boring puzzles or fetch quests that they often sent us on. And like overall, the gameplay I think is just a complete mixed bag. Sometimes it's fun and other times I just absolutely hate it. The soundtrack here though, I did really enjoy, and I'm also going to throw in voice acting in this category, but I thought that the soundtrack complemented the world really well, and the voice acting here actually was done pretty well. I appreciate that it is all voice acted because obviously it makes things a lot better, and they have some very small quality of life things here, like being able to autoplay lines of dialogue instead of just pushing A every single time the text box fills up. So really the strength of this game, I think, is with the characters, and so by giving them voice actors and having distinct voice, I think that really helps sort of identify more with each character and all that kind of stuff, because the characters here are pretty well done, and it's like character building wise, world building, and story wise, this game is fairly solid. But everything else, I think it really falls flat in. Speaking of another thing that it really falls flat in my opinion, is that the visuals are just an absolute mixed bag. Sometimes they look okay, and then other times they're just kind of awful. Now, since I didn't play either of the other original games on their initial releases, I really don't have too much of an idea of how visually impressive these games were for their time. But yeah, here it definitely doesn't look good. Kinda seems like the cheapest art style they could find that they thought would sort of fit what they're going for here. Again, it's fine, but it's definitely nothing to write home about, and they could have been better and more creative with it. If they would have gone pixel art style, I think it could have done something amazing for this game. I understand that could have taken a lot of time, a lot of resources, and this game probably was going to sell super well to begin with, so I don't really fault them for this visual style, but I just think it's kind of lazy. And then there's one more gripe. The first game, story-wise, really good. The second game, story-wise, I don't know about it, okay? So the second game, I'm not going to give anything away. but it just feels really out of character and weird, especially after that previous game that we had just played. I know I'm sounding really cryptic, but if you've played the game, I think you understand what I mean. It just the whole second story really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think it's a cool idea to expand on this character that wasn't expanded on in the first game, but they do that by making this other character that we worked very hard, for. It like kind of compromises that character right there. And I know I'm being really cryptic about it. I don't want to give stuff away, but it's a little bit frustrating. But one thing I did like about the second game was that the teenage punk phase was pretty funny. She's like, I don't want to do this. I just want to do music. I just want to go and like sing in my band. Like Radio Rebel. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but the Disney movie Radio Rebel, that's what she gives me. She gives me Demi Lovato vibes. Or what the fuck? Not Demi Lovato. Jessie. Who plays Jessie? Overall, I did think this game was fairly decent. It had a decent story, and our main character is someone that I immediately vibed with. She's strong-headed and sort of funny, so I thought she was a great protagonist. However, it is super unimpressive on the Nintendo Switch. The second game also felt like a huge departure from what was set up in the first one, and the gameplay just wasn't very fun overall. I'm going to give Another Code Recollection on the Nintendo Switch a solid 5.8 out of 10. It tries to do something, and it succeeds in some of what it attempts to do, and it's cool that this is brought back from an old series that Nintendo hasn't touched in a long time. I love when they do this kind of stuff, but just, I didn't love it. And I think there's a lot of improvement that could have been had here. There's a lot of potential in these games. I'd love to see maybe like another Code R sequel in the future, third game, right? Love to see that, and maybe we redeem some of the stuff I didn't love about the first two. Overall, though, I think they could have definitely done something better, but my opinion doesn't super matter. What do you guys think? What do you give the game out of 10? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't played it yet, maybe pick it up, maybe don't. Do you like visual novels? That's really the question. If you like them, you might like this game. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Check out this video. It's a banger. It's a vibe. It's a good time. I will see you over there. Vibes. Goodbye.